Hey there everyone, it's CandyEvie here, and I'm back with my 4th installment of my series covering Pokemon card Easter eggs. In the previous video, we took a look at some older cards, some newer cards, and some in-game Easter eggs. But today, it's time to take a look at 10 more Pokemon card Easter eggs. Let's begin! So, this is an Easter egg that my good friend Birdkeeper Toby pointed out to me, so thanks Toby! But for this point, we're going to be focusing on a couple of cards from the Pokemon Rumble promotional set. First up here we have Gyarados. It's a really cool card that features artwork done in the style of the Pokemon Rumble games. In the background of the Gyarados card, however, we can see what appears to be a Starmie. And sure enough, in the same mini set there is a Starmie card. And in the background, hey look, there's Gyarados! Well, isn't that cool? You may remember that in the very first video of this series, I talked about the Clefairy and the Hypno Easter egg. Well, I think I found another card that somehow fits into this story. Here we have the Snorlax card from Fates Collide, which was illustrated by the same artist. It shows a Snorlax blocking the road. Like that's a new surprise. But what caught my eye was this shape in the corner. I don't know about you, but I'm willing to bet that's Hypno. I have no clue how this actually fits into the story, but it's pretty interesting. Here we have an Eevee card from Call of Legends. It appears to be running through a city, but where exactly could it be? Well, if you look in the background there, you can see a familiar building, the Game Corner, which means that this card can only be set in one of two places, either Celadon City or Goldenrod City, either of which would probably be a reference to the fact that you can obtain Eevee in both of these locations. It really is nice to see so much thought put into a card like this. So now we're going to cover some older cards again. Here we have Eevee, Espeon, and Umbreon, going way back to Neo Discovery, which by the way also contains a Yamaholo that I really love. I'm sorry. Aside from the fact that they are evolutionary relatives, these cards don't really look like they're connected at first. But actually, like some of the other cards I've shown, they do in fact come together to form a larger picture. A really beautiful nighttime scene at the ruins. It's Plusle and Minun time! The 4th pair of Plusle and Minun cards we're going to cover would be the pair from the 3rd series of the Pop sets. On the Minun card, you can see something red poking out. Oh wait, that's Plusle's ear! And if you look at the Plusle card from the same set, you can see Minun poking out too. The art on these cards is set up so that if you continually combine them, you get a never-ending conga line of these two cuties. So adorable! And like usual, Professor K is going to cover point 6, so let's see what it is.
Hello again, Pokemon fans! I'm Professor K for the Pokemon Evolutionaries. Really happy to be back again in this series for the 10 Easter eggs of this week. And this time, we're going to be jumping off of the portal situation onto a different Easter egg. Now, this one is actually really cool, and it involves a whole set of promo cards, much like the ones from the Southern Islands, but this one is a little bit more recent. From the X and Y era, we have these 3 cards. We've got a Regigigas, an Arceus, and a white Kyurem. All 3 together here in this really cool looking background. Obviously, you know, Arceus is the god of Pokemon, or Arceus, however you want to pronounce it. Obviously, both ways are correct according to different pronunciations that we've heard over the last few years. But here we've got Regigigas, Arceus, and white Kyurem all together, and it forms one giant picture here of this background. It looks really cool, and it's pretty neat that they did this with promo cards. These are the ones that you could get inside of the Pikachu EX and the Hoopa EX boxes. But it's not something you really notice unless you're really looking for it, because these cards are not in any particular order. They're actually backwards, believe it or not. We've got number 81 over here, we've got number 82 here, and 83 here. So if you actually do it the correct way, it looks like this, and it's not right. It's kind of interesting how they did that. I don't know if they're trying to throw us off at the fact that this is an Easter egg, but if they did, I don't think they did a very good job of it, because obviously we still saw it.
You may remember that in the previous video I talked about the Pokepark Blue sheet. Well, it turns out that that wasn't the only small set of promotional cards that was released to coincide with the opening of Pokepark. There is actually a second sheet of promotional cards named the Pokepark Forest sheet, which also contains a whopping 9 cards, being Celebi, Torchic, Mudkip, Pikachu, Latias, Latios, Whismur, Munchlax, and Jirachi. But just like Pokepark Blue, the cards featured in Pokepark Forest all feature in one huge image. Isn't that sweet? So, earlier on in the video, we analysed the Call of Legends Eevee card, and how it may reference an in-game location. Well, the card Last's special from Fates Collide actually goes one step further. In the background of this card, we can see a Roselia fountain. I recognize this immediately as the same fountain from Pokemon X and Y's Santaloon City. However, that's not all there is to it. If you go to Santaloon City, then you will actually find an NPC who looks just like the girl from the card near the fountain. Coincidence? I think not. Today we're going to cover the 4th group of cards from the Southern Islands mini set. This video's group features Ladybug, Jigglypuff, and Butterfree. These are honestly some of the prettiest cards from the entire set, and it's no surprise why, seeing as just like the other trios we've covered, they all line up as part of one bigger picture. Isn't that cool? So far in these videos, we've covered the Charmander line and the Pikachu secret rares. Now, it's time to move on to Platinum secret rares with Electabuzz, Hitmonchan, and Scyther. And there's no way you don't recognize these cards. They're actually reprints of the same group of cards from base sets and jungle. While the fact that the art wasn't updated isn't really as cool as the other cards I've covered, it's still kinda nice to see the older style of Pokemon cards in the newer sets too. Well, that's it for today's Pokemon card Easter eggs video. I really hope you enjoyed it. As always, do check out the other videos in this series as well as Professor K's channel. But that's all for now from me, and I'll see you next time.